Hey guys, Miss Warren here. I'm continuing the 2-point linear perspective packet. So today we're going to be doing a series of buildings. I might add a little more detail than what we have going on here so you all can really see the difference. Now, just like previously we did some cubes, which are more simple than the buildings, and we did an E, which is a little more simple than this, we're going to kind of start in the same way. You always, with linear perspective, you'll need a ruler to draw all your straight lines, you'll need a pencil, and you'll need an eraser. So the first line that we always draw with linear perspective is that we're going to be drawing a horizon line, a line that is eye level with the viewer or where the earth meets the sky. I like to draw mine a little outside of the paper for 2-point linear perspective because the next thing we need in every single 2-point linear perspective drawing is 2 vanishing points. Put a point here and a point here. So we always need to start with this. Now, the next thing that we will need is we're going to draw the corner of our main building. So our main building here is a cube below the horizon line, sort of towards the middle. So I'm going to make sure that my ruler is very straight up and down vertical, and I'm going to draw the corner of the building, and it stops below the horizon line. Okay. Now I'm going to draw the orthogonals. I'm going to slant from the bottom of the corner to the vanishing point to create my orthogonal. I'm drawing these lines lightly because I'm going to end up erasing half of them. So the left side goes to the left side, the right side goes to the right side. Make sure it lines up exactly. Now I'm going to choose how wide I want that first building. I want to leave room for these 2 extra buildings, so I kind of want to take that into consideration. So I'm going to slide my ruler over. Make sure it's straight up and down. I'm going to start at the top orthogonal, and I'm going to draw a straight vertical line to the bottom orthogonal. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to slide my ruler over, make sure it's nice and vertical, start at the top orthogonal, and draw it to the bottom orthogonal and stop. Okay, so there I have the dimensions of my building. And now to make the top part, yet again, if you remember back at the cubes, this is the tricky part. When you're drawing the top surface or the bottom surface of a building, you need to go to the opposite side. So this side will go, so the right side will go to the left side will go to the right side, and where they intersect, where they cross, will make the back corner. So I'm going to line up with the end of my building here. I'm going to touch that. I'm going to touch the vanishing point, and I'm going to draw my orthogonal to the opposite side on this side, and draw my orthogonal to the opposite side on that side. Yet again, I'm drawing it kind of lightly because I'm going to erase the extra lines. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and erase those extra lines, because when I start drawing the details of the building or the buildings behind them, I don't want a bunch of crazy orthogonals in my way, confusing me. Okay, so there I have the basic, it's just a cube right now, but it's a basic outline of the building. If I want to add windows, I'm going to show y'all how to add windows. You need the first line. You draw the line that's closest to the corner first, and you draw a vertical line however tall you want your window. Use your ruler. Don't freehand it. Okay. Then from the top and the bottom of that line, you're going to draw orthogonals to the vanishing point. Now, you can draw it all the way, or you can kind of stop inside the building. You just need to make sure your ruler is touching that dot and touching this edge. Now I'm going to get the top edge. I need to make sure it's lined up there and lined up to the dot. And I'm going to draw my orthogonal. Now you can draw all the way to make sure it exactly lines up, but you can also stop if you're sure that your ruler is touching. Now I have the first part of it. Now I'm going to make sure that my ruler is exactly straight, exactly vertical, and I'm going to end the back side of my window. Clean up the corners a little bit. So there I have a basic window with a top and a bottom. Now, if you want the window divided into sections like this one is here, I'm going to put the point at where I'm going to start. This has to go, any lines on your windows that go horizontally have to be orthogonals. They have to line up exactly to that vanishing point. You can't just freehand this. Okay. Same thing with doors. I'm going to do a little door. I'm going to draw the line that's closest to the center first. Little vertical line, however tall I want my door. Then from the top of my door, I'm going to go to the vanishing point, however wide I want my door. Now you can take it all the way to the vanishing point, or you can stop however wide you want it. You just need to make sure your ruler touches both edges. Now I'm going to draw another vertical line, make sure it's nice and straight, not slanted at all, to end my door. Now I have a doorway. Now this is just a simple doorway, but I'm going to show y'all a little trick. If you want the doorway to look like it opens, you can go from this little corner here to the opposite vanishing point, and you can make it look like it's open. And I'm going to draw another little vertical line to make it look like that wall just ends there. So there you have a little doorway opening into a room. And if you really want to make your room look 3D, here I'm going to start from this corner and I'm going to go to that opposite side and I'm going to draw the back corner of the room. See, if this room was open, it would have this little corner. That would be the corner of the wall behind there. So you can kind of see into the room if you wanted to get more complicated like that. Now, if I wanted to do a building behind this one, where the building was the same size, this would be my new corner line. If it's the same height, I'm just going to extend the orthogonal, make sure it goes from this corner to the orthogonal here. And I'm going to extend this line here to the vanishing point, extend that orthogonal to the vanishing point from this corner here. Then I'm going to draw a vertical line where I want that building to end. Now, I think that that's a little bit easy to kind of make them exactly line up, but we'll continue on with this anyway. I'm going to take this corner to the opposite side to make the back edge. And I'm going to take this corner to the opposite side to make the other back edge. Let me darken up this one real quick so you can really see it. Okay, so there's a building even in size, exactly the same size, just along the same orthogonals. Now, if you want your building to stick out a little bit more or a little bit higher, we're going to draw a new corner. So I'm going to start with this building back here. I'm going to move that corner forward a little bit. So there's like a gap in between these two buildings. Now in the example, they don't have a gap, but I'm going to show y'all how to do a gap. I'm going to scooch it over and I'm going to draw a vertical line. Now I'm going to start on the same, you see this orthogonal here? I'm going to start on the same length because if it is behind this building, the bottom of it has to be higher up than this building. So I'm going to start here. I can't start any lower or else it will look weird. Okay, so I'm going to go straight up and I'm going to go a little bit taller than the building that's in front of it, but not all the way to the horizon line. So this is the start for my second building. So there's the corner. So from the top of the corner, I draw orthogonal to the vanishing point on the left side. And from the bottom, I draw the orthogonal to the left side.
Donald Hayward to 105, Donald Hayward to 105.
So to the right side, I'm going to be drawing a orthogonal line along here. And just in this little bitty edge, now I'm going to line it up to that corner and I'm going to draw it to the right side as well. Now you can stop when it hits this line, but if you want to be really sure that it goes all the way through, you can draw that orthogonal, but I'm going to stop here so I can see that it goes in an alleyway and there's a space. Okay. Miss Warren back, there was a little bit of an interruption, so I'm back with my building video. So I started with this second building. I drew a vertical line for the corner of the building. I made sure it was on the same orthogonal the bottom of this was, so it would line up. Because if I drew it down here, it doesn't look right if something is lower and behind. It just doesn't work. So it has to be higher than and behind. Okay, so I'm going to So this is the side of my building, and I'm going to choose however wide I want it. I'm going to slide it down, and I'm going to draw a vertical line that fits in between these two orthogonals. Okay. Now, the back of my building, I want it to end before this one, because if we look at the example, it ends just a little bit before that corner. Now I'm going to draw a vertical line between, so right here, and it lines up with that orthogonal. Now I still need to I need to make this one go to the opposite side to make that back corner, and this one go to the opposite side to make that back corner. So I'm going to go ahead and start at the top of my corner and draw that orthogonal. And then I'm going to start at the top of this corner, and I'm going to draw it to the orthogonal to the opposite vanishing point. There we go. Now you can draw it all the way, but you can always stop when it hits the second orthogonal, so you don't have to draw the whole line. You just need to make sure with your ruler that it's lined up exactly. So there's a building peeking out from behind this other building here. Okay. Now we're going to do a really tall building that stands up behind all of these shorter buildings. I'm going to choose where I want the corner of that building. I'm going to draw a straight vertical line, and I'm going to make sure that it goes above the horizon line. Now when it goes above the horizon line, you won't see the top of it like these three buildings. And you won't really have to draw the bottom because the bottom is hidden behind the other buildings. So I'm just going to worry about the top. So I'm going to touch the vanishing point. I'm going to touch the top of my corner, draw the orthogonals, the top of my building. I'm going to draw the orthogonals at the top of my building. Hey guys, Ms. Warren back. There was an announcement, so I had to pause the video. Okay, so I'm on my back building. I had the corner here drawn of however tall I want my back building. Like the example, I want it to go above the horizon line, and then the top of it goes to the left vanishing point, and the top of it goes to the right vanishing point. I don't have to worry about drawing the bottom because it's hidden behind the other buildings. Now, as long as I draw my vertical line for where I want my building to end, I'm going to take it from the top orthogonal here, and I'm going to make it end when it touches the next building. I take it from the top of the orthogonal here, and I'm going to draw it straight down, make sure my ruler is nice and flat until I hit the building back there. Now I'm going to erase my extra orthogonals that are outside the buildings because I don't need those anymore. Okay, now to draw the windows that are on this building, I'm going to draw a vertical line that is closest to me. Here, let me erase the horizon line inside my building because my building's not transparent. So I'm going to draw the horizontal line of the window that's closest to me first. Then the top of the window will go exactly to the vanishing point. And then I'll end the window with another vertical line.
Peter Marshall, please report to room 105, Caden.
Okay, so we have a very tall window. Now if we want to divide it into sections, all the lines that go straight up and down will be exactly vertical. They need to be straight up and down. You don't slant this line at all. Then I would choose how far apart I want my horizontal lines. Maybe make a point, maybe make a little dot here every inch or so. If you want to measure it out, you can. I'm going to eyeball it. Okay, now we're going to line up all these dots with the vanishing point, because anything on the surface of your building, whether it's bricks or windows or line decorations or like a fancy edge, has to slant towards the vanishing point. If you look, the lines that are up high slant more downwards, and as we get close to the horizon line, that line starts to flatten out some. Then if we get below the horizon line, the line actually starts to slant up instead of down. So this line is slanting up. So if you look, these lines slant down, and then they start to flatten out, and then they start to slant up. So this would be true of any window, poster, decoration, fancy edge on your building that you would want to draw. So that is the basic outline of the building. In the next lesson, I'm going to be planning my cityscape, and I'm going to use these basic principles to make a fancy series of buildings. And I'll show y'all how to do a sidewalk. I'll show y'all how to do edges and arches. But for now, this is your basic building.